Emergency funds sound simple. Save some money. Set it aside. Feel secure. And yet, many people start an emergency fund and never quite finish it. So why does something so logical feel so difficult to complete? Most people think emergency funds fail because people aren't disciplined enough. That if it's hard to finish, it must be a motivation problem. But emergency funds don't feel hard because people don't care. They feel hard because of how the goal is experienced. Imagine this. You start saving for emergencies. At first, progress feels good. You see numbers move. You feel safer. But as the goal grows, progress feels slower. Each contribution feels smaller relative to the total. The finish line feels far away. And motivation fades. Not because saving stopped working, but because the target moved psychologically. Here's the key idea. Emergency funds are meant to sit unused. They don't create visible rewards. They don't get used unless something goes wrong. So the brain struggles to feel progress. Unlike spending or investing, there's no immediate payoff, just waiting. Another layer makes this harder. As life changes, the right emergency fund size often increases. Costs go up. Responsibilities grow. Baselines shift. So the target quietly moves. And when the target moves, finishing feels impossible. Not because you're behind, but because the finish line won't stay still. This ties directly to what we discussed earlier. Inflation raises costs. Baselines expand. Expectations change. So an emergency fund that once felt enough now feels incomplete. The fund didn't shrink. The reference point moved. This creates a strange emotional effect. People think, what's the point if it's never enough? But the emergency fund is doing its job. It's reducing risk. The problem isn't effectiveness, it's perception. Emergency funds protect invisibly. And invisible protection is hard to feel motivated by. So here's the simple truth. Emergency funds feel hard to finish because the target feels distant and unstable. Not because saving is failing, but because safety doesn't produce visible rewards. Once you see this clearly, something changes. You stop asking, why can't I finish this? And start asking, what does this fund already protect me from? That shift replaces frustration with clarity. If this explained why emergency funds feel so hard to complete, comment target. Not because you're behind, but because the target keeps moving. Emergency funds don't exist to feel satisfying. They exist to quietly reduce risk. And quiet protection is easy to underestimate.